The real reason that real estate agents and investors fail is not because they're lazy or the market conditions or prices are weird or interest rates are up. It's because, simply put, they do not have enough deal flow to fill their pipeline consistently. Today, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we've created over 100,000 $50 leads for our business, real estate leads, while other people are paying $300 or more. That isn't theory. This is what we have done and are currently doing. It's the exact system that I've used to build my real estate business to multiple seven figures and help hundreds of other investors and agents around the country do the exact same thing. I'm Ruud-Johnson. I founded my real estate company, HelloPad, at about 20 years old after already being in the business for 2 years. And that real estate company has gone on to grow to over $3 million per year, hundreds of deals, and got me appearances on the shows like Bigger Pockets and many others. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because the reality is, if you do not solve your lead flow and deal flow issue, your pipeline issue, you will never build the business you want. And I know so many, as you probably do, so many mortgage brokers and real estate brokers and investors that back in 2018 to 2022 were making $300, $400, $500, $1 million per year that are now working bartender jobs or no longer in the industry. Why? Well, because they only relied on organic marketing and they never built a scalable client acquisition system. And the key word is system, because a system never sleeps. A system allows you to build your dream real estate business, but instead right now you're in a prison, you're in a hustle. And stay tuned through this video and you're going to learn exactly how to build a scalable marketing system that allows you to print $50 leads on autopilot and change your real estate business forever. Now let's get real about lead generation and deal flow. Almost every single investor and agent is doing it wrong. They believe that marketing and building their pipeline is an expense. They should do everything they can not to spend money. And that is the old, I call it real estate agent way of thinking about marketing. Real business owners, especially once you realize your data and that you're going to get a 3, 4, 5x return on your ad spend, they see marketing as an investment and they want to put back every single dollar they possibly can investing in that part of their business. The reality is that there's only so many ways to produce leads and deals in real estate if you're an agent or an investor. You can send postcards and farm an area. You can cold call. You can send text messages. A lot of people do that. I'm not a fan of it. You can do radio ads. You can do TV ads. You can pay for referrals. You can host events. You can door knock. You can drive for dollars, bandit signs. But there's only so many ways you can actually produce viable leads. And the reality is that even if you use one of those various marketing channels, where people get stuck is they don't have a system or a process to do it effectively to produce leads, right? They go pay PPL leads for $300 per lead, or they go pay $500 on a pay-per-click lead, or they do cold calling, but they don't understand the business well enough to convert those. They don't have the infrastructure to process those leads. The reason we have dozens of testimonials of happy clients across our YouTube podcast and our website, which you can see below this video, and you can see some of them right here as I talk, like Tyler, who's gone from a broke college kid to multiple six figures per year, like Brooks O'Hearn with Shamrock Homes, who's crushing it, like Brandon Evans, who was a W-2 employee flipping some houses, now on track to make $1 million this year and has quit his W-2, and many more examples like that. The reality is they built a system using our blueprint that printed leads at an affordable cost so they could actually grow their business. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is I'm going to tell you a story. When I was 19, I got Lyme disease, and this isn't a sob story. The reality is that I went from a healthy 19, 20-year-old to being bedridden for most days for a couple-year period. And I had to learn to run my business and still grow it to multiple seven figures in a couple hours per day. And so I had to find the most effective ways to get leads for my team, because when I got sick, I had an office that I had to pay for. I had multiple salespeople in that office. I had a partner. I had overhead. I had people in systems and costs that relied on me. And so I had to figure out how to create consistent lead flow. And it led me to realize the 3 best marketing channels in this business are pay-per-click, mail, and cold calling. And if you guys have followed me or subscribed to me for a while, you know that I own a marketing company for agents and investors. You know that I talk a lot about how to get leads in that actually convert. You know that I talk a lot about how this business is truly a sales and marketing business. So I want you guys to realize I have tried every marketing channel from TV ads all the way to door knocking, and I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars or more on each channel. And what I have realized is it's not about the marketing channel. It is about the investor or agent. It is about you. Because if you do not dial in the sales and marketing side, primarily the sales side, there's no silver bullet marketing channel coming to save you. So channel diversification does not exist until you're at scale. I want you to choose one marketing channel if you're not already at $1 million per year that you can ride until you get there. And then for every million you want to grow beyond that, you add another marketing channel. For us, we got from 0 to 1 million with cold calling. Then we added pay-per-click. Then we added mail and TV ads. You cannot master them all at one time because it changes your sales process. It changes your team. It changes your data. The second piece of this, the channel diversification strategy, is you have to give each marketing channel long enough to really understand the data and what's happening. You cannot turn on and off marketing channels in a 30, 60, 90-day period. My rule of thumb has always been you have to give a marketing channel 6 months to know if it's really going to be successful with you. And that's only if you're doing all the work on the conversion side, mastering your sales process, your pipeline, and the important pieces there. So now let's move into cost control. And what's often overlooked in this business, once you understand when and why to diversify your marketing strategy, how to make sure your marketing channels are effective, and now you understand the overall industry problem, the next thing I need to talk to you about is cost control. What I really mean by this is you need to do every single thing you can to give yourself the best chance of closing deals and leads as soon as possible. And so what a lot of you guys do is you go balls to the wall, you start spending money on mail and pay-per-click and cold calling and all this kind of junk. What you don't realize is you can do work beforehand to increase your likelihood of success. And when I was coming up and I was really into basketball, I would go see an acupuncturist, and he had this picture on his wall that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And I think an ounce of prep is worth a pound of marketing. The more prep that you do, the better your marketing will do. We've already talked about some of that prep, being prepared to understand that marketing is an investment, being prepared to play on a 6-month timeline. But the reality is that marketing, an ounce of prep is worth a pound of marketing. And so how do we prep the right way? Well, the first thing that you can do is you can create a high intent list. We do this for our clients, completely for them. But if you're going to run your own marketing, what I recommend that you have to be list stacking, and you have to be pulling 3 types of lists: general, predictive, and niche. Your general lists from places like PropStream and ListSource are your high equity, long-term ownership, age of owner, those basic lists. You then have predictive lists, things like ReallyFlow, things like Audantic. They use machine learning and AI. They look at thousands of data points from credit score to earnings to liens to all kinds of stuff to determine the likelihood of someone selling. And then you have niche lists, your pre-foreclosures, your probates, your bankruptcies, your divorces, your evictions, your fire damage, your code violation, your water damage. The list goes on and on. But the reality is you need to have all 3 of those lists to do proper prep. Remember, an ounce of marketing prep is worth a pound of marketing dollars. So once you have multiple lists, you need a list stack, and use a good list stack or something like REI Sift to stack all of these lists. And now you see who shows up on multiple lists. So when you go to do your marketing, your cold calling, your texting, your email, your mail, you're now marketing to people that actually have higher likelihood intent to sale. And who do you think's going to win? Me marketing to a list of people that have 3 or 4 indicators of sale, or you marketing to a high equity list? I am going to beat you 10 times out of 10. Okay, so prep is so important. A lot of you guys also throw money down the drain using skip tracing that's not good. Because it's cheap does not mean it's good. And so I built a real skip tracing solution that works that some of the best and biggest players in the industry use. And that is easybuttonskiptrace.com. And I don't know if there's anything better than that service, because we built in a lot of compliance tools. We make sure you have data that is actually consumer friendly, meaning you can actually market to it. In a sense, a lot of people go by non-compliant data, meaning they go to companies like DelvePoint and they lie and say they have a debt collector's license so that they can then get credit bureau data. We don't do that. You're getting real data that you can actually market to. Of course, you want to follow TCPA, DNC guidelines, and do your own research. But that is the next piece of prep. So you've chosen your marketing channel, you understand the industry problems, you understand how to prepare psychologically and your business to be successful, you understand cost control and how prep is worth a pound of marketing dollars and marketing expense. Now let's move into the 4th part of this process, which is lead management. And I break lead management into 2 parts. That's triage and conversion. And the reality is, if you're trying to source your own deals as an agent or an investor, you are a sales and marketing business before you're an operations and real estate business. And we've covered the marketing piece. And now I'm going to spend some time on the conversion part, because low cost leads only matter if you have the conversion part to fix it. Now we've talked about how you create low cost leads, right? We've talked about the problem everyone has. We've talked about the mindset and framework you need to have for your business. And we've talked about how to create those leads. using list stacking, using the right data sources, and then you can deploy it via mail cold calling if you're going to do it yourself or hire a company like ours. But now we got to talk sales and triage and conversion. One of the most important parts of a real estate business is triage, because the reality is out of 100 sellers, only about 1.3% are going to want to sell within the first 30 days of a lead coming in. So every 100 leads you get, you probably have one in there that'll sell within the first 30 days. The rest are long-term follow-up. So what you want to build is a system and an infrastructure so you're capturing and you're paying the most attention to people who have the highest likelihood of sale in the first 90 days. How do you do that? Well, the first part is tech. I recommend a good CRM like Simply that has an integrated phone system, automated data tracking in there with KPIs. It has long-term drip sequences and nurture campaigns, some cool AI tools. It's just a badass CRM that'll help you tremendously. The second thing is you pair that tech with a lead manager. A lead manager can be someone overseas for $8 an hour plus some commission. All they do is they manage the pipeline and they triage leads as they come in, having a more in-depth conversation before handing off the most qualified leads to a closer or a salesperson or an acquisition rep, whatever you want to call them in your business. So your acquisition team is spending all of their time with the most qualified, the most valid, the most likelihood of sale leads, and your lead managers are taking care of the long-term follow-up, the pipeline, the triage of leads that might not be quite ready yet before they pass them up. So those are the two functions, triage and then acquisitions, okay? You have to also get that right for this all to work. Look, doing all of this isn't sexy, but it's the legwork and it's the prep that allows you to separate yourself from other agents and investors and build a really awesome business. And having a really awesome business and you build a moat around it by doing these things is how you separate yourself. So here is your action plan. Implement proper tracking and understand the pitfalls of most agents and investors. Start testing which marketing channel you want to scale to 1 million and then what you want to scale beyond that while playing on a longer time cycle and mastering sales. Build your prep system and your cost control system to get in front of your most motivated prospects first, and then build a triage and acquisition function that is scalable, predictable, and that is surrounded by a great team and great systems. Remember, success in this business long-term isn't home runs. It's not randomness. It's sequential steps. It's the right systems, and it's the right focus and intention over a long period of time. If you guys want to access everything I talked about today, our scripts, our training, our materials, our videos, live calls, completely for free, you can join the direct to seller method. Almost 1,000 investor and agents are in there now all around the country, crushing it, doing deals, and loving what they do. You can hop in there for free, no strings attached below this video. Everything else I talked about is right below as well. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe and come back next week for the next video and how to build your dream real estate business and escape the prison you've created for yourself. Whether you've done 10 deals or 100 deals or 1,000 deals, odds are you're still wearing every hat in your business and struggling to keep your head above water. So until next time, you're only one deal away.